everyone. Welcome to the first session of this event. Unfortunately, we haven't managed to connect Upendo yet, but I would like to introduce Jennifer Kaberi from Mtoto News in Kenya. She's the founder. So, Jennifer, I will jump back out and see if I can get Upendo, and you can start just telling us about your experience with AI companions, what for the kids, especially around you. And I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you so much, Angeline. Hi, everybody. My name is Jennifer Kaberi. I work with children. So I'm going to start with a trivia, and then we can be able to get into what is this AI companions that we are talking about, especially when you talk about children, and especially about children where I come from, that is Africa. So first, trivia, and I'm hoping the chat box is open. Number one, I want you to go back to your childhood, okay? And I want you to identify something or someone that you'll never forget. Something or someone that you'll never forget. I just want to see the chat box. I want you to go back to our childhood. Remember something or someone you'll never forget. Thank you. I can see teachers, parents. Yes, keep them coming. My grade 4 teacher, okay. Family, my nanny, my parents. We are many of us here. My primary school teacher, my grandmother. Yes, keep them coming. Keep them coming. My drama teacher, keep them coming. Physical location, people feelings. Catherine needs what physical location? Which people? My cat, Mandy, thank you. My drama teacher. Keep them coming. Don't be shy. This is very relevant for this conversation. The street, houses, and schools. Okay. Do you have a specific one, especially if you move from one place to the other when you're growing up? Do you have a particular neighborhood that you can always remember? Like for me, when I'm thinking about home, there's a particular neighborhood I am attached to when I was growing up. So, we had like if you move from different homes or different towns, when you say home, there's that one place that comes. Even if you have moved 5 times after that, there's that one place that you always call home or your mind calls home. A crazy old man on a bicycle. My neighbor. Thank you. Oh, you're an army child. So especially that's a nice one because there's when when you're moving, there's that one place to say, when I grow up, I'll always go back to that town or to that city or to that neighborhood when I grow up because it felt home. Anybody? Thank you so much. These are engaging. So let me introduce myself. My name is Jennifer Kaberi, as the title is there. I am a mom, number one. I always say that's my first title above everything else. I'm a mom. But I'm a child development specialist. I'm trained and I practice child development. But in the last couple of years, I think about 8 years, I've been working in the intersectionality between children and technology. And this is because the reality is, from my observation, is that children are increasingly becoming, or is it technology is increasingly becoming part of children, and there's no way we can be able to separate childhood and technology. It's part of it. And why I asked you this question, and where I work. Okay, I work with Mtoto News, but also I've just founded, Mtoto is a children's digital company based in Nairobi, but working across Africa. And we believe in the children's right to participate. And we work a lot with children and in the digital space. And we support children from across the continent to make sure their voices are heard. Okay, and in this particular one, we are currently working, we are working on 2 researches around children and AI from Africa. And then I have another part, Kutunga. Kutunga is a children design lab and academy where we are training software developers from the global south to design for children. There, I'm done with my PR part of this presentation. So why I wanted us to go back to our childhood is because what you remember is something that you attach to. Okay, it's something that made a significant difference in your life. Okay, there's someone who mentioned their cat. Why? Because probably the cat was always there. It was giving those cuddles, it was always there for you. Okay, parent, a lot of you have said parents. Why? Parents were there for you. They were feeding you. They were making sure that you're educated. They sure that you are in the nice and narrow, they were there for you. They are protected you. Okay. There's also say drama teachers. Teachers play a huge role. And that teacher, most probably, they did something in your life that you cannot forget. Okay, probably they said to you something that helped you to improve your self-esteem, or they guided you in a way that has helped you in your adulthood and your career. Okay, those ones were our childhood companions. Okay, this topic is on AI companions. So those ones are our childhood companions, and they really shaped us to who we are as adults. Okay, so when it comes to AI companions, that's what is becoming. If you follow me on LinkedIn, I've been talking about this, because the more you observe, the more you study, you find that children are forming an attachment, healthy or unhealthy, with AI. So the AI in 15 years time, if I ask the same question to an adult room, adults will say, oh, I remember Siri. I remember Alexa. I remember Nyagodie. That's what we called here. We call Miss Google or Mr. Google Miss Nyagodie because of the movement. They help me. Miss Nyagodie helps me to move from one point to another. Okay. They remember ChatGPT. They remember character.ai. They remember Snapchat AI. Okay, my AI. That's what they're going to remember. Why? Because they're forming relationship and attachment with these bots and machines. Okay? And why is this? Because as children are growing, for those ones who are child development experts, they would agree with me. Children, there's a way we have been created, the way our brain and our emotions and our social being develop. They develop from the age of 0 to 3. Okay, that's where attachment is grown. And Erickson brought in issues to do with Erickson is a theorist on child development. The fear and mistrust, okay, they grow there. And if between the age of 0 to 5, as a parent, you're not showing your child the reason they should trust you, the reason that they should not fear you. But if they go to Siri or Alexa and say, Alexa, do you love me? And Alexa with a sweet, tiny voice, they go like, hi, sweetie, I love you. What do you want from me today? So in reality, they are forming a connection with Siri. They are forming an attachment with Siri. But from 0 to 3 hours, they don't have the logic, they don't have the capacity to separate human from machine. Okay, I'm just coming from an event by Nvidia. And so Nvidia, they have just launched some big thing. And towards the end, they just unleashed a robot. And that robot looked like one of those scientific movies that we used to watch. You know, the robot with a big head and a small body, and it. So that is a reality. It's not a movie anymore. I watched it today and I was like, oh my goodness, this is something that I used to watch when I was a baby, when I was a child, but it's a reality. And that's what the reality is becoming. Children. So you can imagine, as we move in the next 5 years, robots are going to be part of our lives the way phones are. Okay. So children are forming those bonds. They are forming those conversations, they are forming those attachments with bots from a very young, because we as adults, including myself, have exposed our children to them, and unfortunately we are allowing machines to parent our children or to form this connection. So there's very little human connection. Okay, and how can we be able as adults to ensure that children are more and more are forming human connection? Okay, so I'm a pro tech. I'm not against tech, because I believe there's no way you're going to get rid of tech. So for the best way we can be able to ensure tech is safe for children is if we build it right. Okay, so for me, I wish I did a PowerPoint. I was told not to do a PowerPoint. So So for us to be able to ensure that children are supported or are supported to develop in a highly technologized world, we need to be able to start designing tools. We need to start designing, and here I'm going to emphasize on both virtual tools, that is like our AI softwares, and our physical. Especially today, after watching that NVIDIA launch, I'm more convinced that we need to create both, because there's been so much emphasis on developing AI software tools. But when I watch that robot, I'm convinced that we need to start thinking ahead and start thinking, how can we make robots, like the physical ones, more child-friendly, okay? We need to start implementing a safety by design, okay? The safety by design principles are not just there to stay. Those safety by designs are there to be ensured that in our so safety by design is there to ensure that children are able to, the children are safe, okay, as you design. And I say, sometimes we think children are always an afterthought. I would say, like in my team, I'd say if you're going to build this product for children, when you are conceptualizing it, bring a child there. Okay, don't start when you're conceptualizing, when you're writing your deck, when you're writing your ideas, you're ideating and all that in your wall. Is there a child who is going to point fingers and is going to point at a gap that you have left out as an adult? Okay, so for me, I've seen Angeline is back. Let me just finish my monologue. So for me, it is very important that we look at technology from childhood and from a children perspective. Okay, from a childhood perspective is how is it impacting every stage of development and every area of development of that child. And from a child perspective, what is the child saying about this particular tool? Okay? Thank you. I'm done with my monologue. Please, may I have some claps? Thank you, Angelina. Welcome back.
I want to ask you, because I think there's some misunderstanding about the how advanced actually in different places these AI companions are used. Like, because you work with a lot of children in Kenya. Like, how many of them do you have been using AI for companionships, and what kind of companionships in your experience?
Okay, so I work. So I've said we are doing a research, and the research that we've shown is showing 2 out of 5 children have used some form of a chatbot. Some form of a chatbot. Okay, the most popular one is ChatGPT, and this is the obvious reason, because it was the first one, and it became very popular very early, and it helps children to do homework. Okay, so that's the big one. A lot of children are using ChatGPT for creating, for therapy. Yeah, because my mom has beaten me. Her mom has screamed at me. What am I going to do? They ask ChatGPT, I'm feeling low, and ChatGPT gives them some therapy, some form of therapy. But again, we are seeing an increase in my AI by what are they called? Snapchat. So Snapchat, because Snapchat is very popular with young people, and so we are seeing an increase of use of my AI by Snapchat among young people. Okay, and about a week ago, WhatsApp Meta just launched their AI. So we don't know the issue, the uptake yet, because right now it's school time, and in Kenya a lot of children are in boarding school, so we are yet to know the impact of that. But next week, when the children on break, they're on midterm break, we'll be able to know how many children are going to be using the AI, the WhatsApp AI, because it's in your phone. So you don't have to go and look for it like ChatGPT and open another window. It's on WhatsApp. It's there with you. So we are yet to know. So that's something like with my team, we are trying to find out what is the uptake and how are the children are going to use the WhatsApp. Okay, so there's an increase. So it's not like African children, they're using because it's like ChatGPT is on your phone. You don't need a big machine to do. Even with this very simple, affordable, low compute smartphone, you can be able to access ChatGPT. So that is one of the biggest, and then followed by Snapchat, and now WhatsApp. So we are yet to know the impact of WhatsApp yet. Yeah.
What's the positive and negative feedback that you've gotten from this? Because, I mean, that's pretty, I mean, using that as parents for advice at a young age, I mean, about the parents seems pretty, I mean, extreme and dangerous, actually.
Let me start with the positive side. So for me, the way we consume technology is sometimes very different from the rest of the world, because for us, we are using it to serve our needs. Okay. So I've seen children learning different languages using ChatGPT because it's easy to be able to prompt, I want to learn Portuguese or I want to learn French. And then ChatGPT will actually help you. And especially if your ChatGPT has voice, it's voice enabled, you can be able to learn a language very easily with that. And in terms of education, very complex stuff, because sometimes teachers give you very complex homework. It helps. It's not cheating. There's cheating and there's helping, because you've not understood, the teacher did not explain to you that concept very well in class. But you go to ChatGPT and say, please act as my teacher and help me to explain to me this particular concept in a language that I can be able to understand. And the best thing about ChatGPT, you can tell it, please explain to me in English. Can you explain to me in Chichewa? Explain to me in Zulu. And it will explain it in the language that you understand. And like a teacher who is in a hurry to finish a curriculum, who is not that patient. Okay. And this is with teach. And then one thing I've seen is creativity. Oh, I've seen like there's one of the kids I know who is creating songs using AI, who is creating images, amazing images using AI, and they are creating a whole portfolio for themselves. It's some form of income for them. Okay, because they can be able to create songs and put it that late on an animation, and they put that animation on TikTok, and they're famous. Okay, it's very easy for them to be able to create for themselves jobs because of that. On the negative side is, I always say, parents and educators and caregivers do not understand what is AI. So it becomes very challenging for them to guide their children. So they say, it's the way, remember when you were growing up, Google is your friend. Now it's ChatGPT is your friend. So because ChatGPT, and that's where attachments start becoming an issue, because you have been told for the longest time Google is your friend, and now Google becomes your friend. And now Google has just put a machine called Gemini on top of it to help your life much easier, to live a soft life as a child. So that's where my biggest challenge is parents, caregivers, and educators not understanding their role as parenting, and not understanding how these machines work. Okay, all of us are digital immigrants. Children are natives. They have grown with it. They understand. They don't have to be taught how to use ChatGPT. For us, we have to go to class and to be taught how to do prompts. Okay, so and then number 2 is biasness. ChatGPT, I'm sorry if there's someone from ChatGPT, I'm not picking up on you, but it is the most popular platform where I come from. It's very biased, okay? Most of the data that it has been trained, it has not been trained from data from Africa. That makes it very hard for it to conceptualize not the language, but the context and the culture of this child who is asking questions. So it will just throw out some things that are not relevant to your culture. Okay, they'll bring some things in Arizona or down in Australia or India into a space and blinking. No, it does not make sense for me. And so you find children up now, they become a bit afraid using it because it's not contextualized. So, and then of course, the hallucination results to these bots bringing out stuff that are not healthy for children. Okay, which makes it very hard for you as a parent. ChatGPT told me this. What does it mean? And you are thinking, oh Lord, how do I start explaining this to a child in a language that they'll be able to understand. And finally, again, the interface. I always say, ChatGPT, thank you so much for an amazing machine, but your interface is horrible. Okay, your interface is horrible, and especially if you're targeting right now, there's something we're working on for 13 and above. It's horrible. How do you report? Okay, because you report, it takes like 4 days, working days for you to get back to you. And you're reporting a content that you think is not safe for children. And this is something I've tested myself with ChatGPT. I did something and I said, this is for testing purposes. Even if I get blocked, I'm going to do this for testing purposes. But they get back to you 4 days later. And if it was something that was harmful, like someone trying to get suicidal thoughts, or they're trying to get some CSAM, if you're getting back to me in 4 days, that means you are hurting me. You're hurting the child. Okay? Oh, thank you so much, Angeline. I hope I've answered the question.
Yes, that's perfect. And unfortunately, I think we could have made this much longer because it's really interesting. I have to go and open the next session, but I would like to know if any of the people here have any questions for Jennifer, because I'm sure you all have your own experiences, maybe from your different countries or different kids. So thank you so much. And I'm going to go and open the next session, but feel free to stay. Yeah.
I've seen a question. Do you have some guidance on safe design? Yes. So I'm just going to leave my email address on the chat. So there are quite a number. 5 Rights have done an amazing job. DFC, what is the full name for DFC? Digital Futures for Children. They have done some amazing work. Yes, there is a regulation for AI in Kenya. And we are just coming up with quite a number of strategies. What kind of resources do you need more in the East Africa? What more kind of? For me, it's parenting. Like, this is students started telling us, because we do, like Mtoto, you see, train children. That's our core work. But we train children, and then children just sat us down and they said, you guys are doing an amazing job with us. We know all these things you're telling us, but our parents do not know. They just know how to block our phones. They don't know. You see your mom navigating the digital space and you want to cringe and you want to shout at her, but she's your mom. You cannot be able to do, because she does not understand what she's doing. So I think AI literacy is very, very important. And it's not AI literacy. It's not AI literacy for just children, but AI literacy for adults, the parents who are parenting these digital natives. Because if they do not understand the digital world, they will not be able to support or protect their children. Okay, so yes, Kalecha, they tell us those, they see and they're like, yeah, please call my mom, teach them what you're teaching us. Because there's one parent who told us that at her son, we had trained her son on digital literacy and all that, and then the mom has 2 children, so he goes home and gets the phone and deletes, and the mom is like, why are you taking my phone? Why are you deleting all these things? They're like, no, we are told this. So she could not understand why my child is deleting all these things from my phone. And then when she came here for a parenting training, she was like, oh, so that's the reason my child was deleting all those things from my phone and stopping and blocking his younger sister, who was about 9 years old, from being online. And then, yes, the mom did not understand. She said, it's online. Everybody's there. Why should not my 9-year-old be on online? So it's a reality, so that we have a huge gap on both digital and AI literacy for parents. Any more questions? And I know you guys need to jump to the other one. Thank you so much, Anne. Thank you. I've shared the email. Let me share it again. So that's my email. You can reach out to me if you want conversation. If the person is asking for materials, we have quite a number of materials. We have a training that we can be able to share on safety by design. Thank you so much, guys. Any more questions? So just kindly put your question in the chat. There's one question here I think Angeline didn't ask, in terms of what are the early signs of knowing if your child is attached to a gadget or a machine. I'm not going to say a gadget, I'm going to say a machine. It can be whatever. So you will see they are more likely to ask questions to the machine than you. Upendo is here. Yay. And this is because they are more likely, they more likely they'll tell you, Mommy, you don't know, let me ask ChatGPT. Mommy, let me ask Siri. Mommy, you don't know, let me ask whatever machine they're using. So you'll find they are less likely. So the attachment is separated. Okay. So as a parent, I would request you, please create those bonds when the child is still young. Okay. Let the child know the difference between a machine and a human. And this is going to be a reality in the future where machines are going to be part of our household. Right now, they are very far. They're in the phone. They're far away. When there's no Wi-Fi, you don't have. Okay, if you don't have internet, you don't have it. But in the next 5 years, machines are going to be as good as our phones. Okay, so how are we able to teach our children the difference? What this machine and me are two different. I can be able to give this. Okay, even if that machine can give you a huge cuddly hug, but how can we be able to ensure that you show your child something that the machine cannot be able to give them? Okay, how can we be able to ensure by giving them that, teaching them those boundaries? Okay, showing them that I am welcome, Upendo. Showing them the love, and showing them emotions, the machines that cannot be able to show them. Okay, so that is very important as a parent. And then you need to educate yourself as a parent, as a caregiver, as a educator. You need to educate yourself on these machines. You need to educate on how they work, not how to use them, because most of us know how to use them. You know how to swipe down, you know how to like, you know how to delete, you know how to, you know how to post. But how does that machine, what propels, what makes that post come to your screen? Okay, what makes that the feed to show the way it is showing? We need to learn those things, so that way we'll be able to protect our children better. So now that Upendo is here, I'm just going to ask, because Angeline is not here, I'm going to ask the question. So Upendo, I'll start by asking you, please introduce yourself and tell us what you think about AI companions. And I hope you're well in school.
Hi. Yes. Hi. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Yes, my name is Upendo Nawire. I am a child's rights activist, currently on Mtoto News. On AI companions, okay, personally, I use AI companions as I'm very interested in the world of art, media, poetry, books, all sorts. And it is a fun way to come up with stories. And but it can be harmful because there are a lot of different ways in which people take AI companions too seriously, and they end up misusing it. Or like the 14-year-old that had committed suicide, I'm not sure, I think a year or so ago, because of using character AI. So I feel like there should be clear boundaries when using AI companions.
Thank you, Pendo. So the next question is, from your observation, what are the primary reasons why young people like you want to go and consult to consult a chatbot, okay, to seek advice for entertainment? Why do you think young people are doing that?
Well, there could be a various number of reasons, as some people either do it out of loneliness, maybe they don't have someone to talk to, or people who watch different type of media, maybe they have a character they favor and they want to create different storylines using that character. Or some people just feel pressurized as AI companions are growing. In a lot of media, you will see people use AI companions a lot. So it could lead to the pressure of being curious into using the AI companions.
Thank you so much, Upendo. And can you tell me some positive and the negative side of AI companions?
Okay, positive, I'd say AI companions can do a lot because it helps fast garner creativity. Because in a lot of different apps for AI companions, you are able to create your own AI companions, create the characters, the setting, everything. In others, it can also help you learn a lot because there are AI companions that are tailor-made for teaching either languages or sciences or just anything in general. So I'd say those are some of the positives. Negatives happen mostly when someone isn't able to properly use it. Maybe they get too attached to the AI companion, which makes them feel that they can tell them anything. And maybe the way the AI companion is tailor-made, it's not able to help someone handle loneliness or any issue that they are facing. So it can turn against the person, assuming that is a scene they want to create. Sometimes it can also encourage violence depending on the AI companion that you use, or different sexual perversions depending on the type of AI app someone uses and how the creator of the companion makes the AI companion.
Okay, and my final question is, as a young person, what do you think adults, teachers, parents, caregivers often misunderstand about how children interact with AI? And what one thing do you wish they knew?
I feel like something people misunderstand about AI companions is mainly that, okay, first, they don't have that much knowledge on these AI companions. So depending on what the first thing that they see in media is, or the picture that's given to that AI companion, someone can either feel threatened, assuming the child is entering into dangerous situations, and that they might misinterpret it as an actual person speaking to their child and try to either restrict the child without giving a proper reason. And something that I've seen is that when someone is restricted without proper reasoning or proper explanation, they end up rebelling faster. So what I wish I would have is that it would be important that children are exposed to these things, not literally given the chance to act out and enter the negative sides, but are explained and showed how these things could affect their lives negatively. Yes, thank you.
So you said you use AI companions. So this is a final question, and then I can open here for the audience to answer. What are some early warnings that shows that the child's relationship with an AI companion might be moving towards over-reliance or problematic usage?
I feel like that could happen, especially if, let's say, the continuous use. It's like when a child is being groomed online. They wake up to their phone, they wake up to the AI companions, they go to sleep to the AI companions. That is usually the only thing that's on their mind. Or if they have an issue, before discussing it with someone else, that is the first thing that they go to.
Thank you. She's just come to validate what I was saying, that the AI companions, as a result of most of the children, especially who have negative views or overusage, is because they are seeking something that they're not getting from a human. Okay? So that's where the problematic usage of AI comes in. But if they're getting the attachment, they're getting the responses that they need from their parents or their caregivers or their teachers, they are less likely to go to an AI. You know, I was talking to a friend of mine and she was telling me, nowadays students don't ask me why, because why? The curiosity, the children used to come to you asking you why, because you are their ChatGPT. Okay, but now because they have the ChatGPT that will not tell them, go away, you are asking me too many questions, you are making me, I'm tired, I'm just coming from work, why don't you just keep quiet for a minute? Siri will not tell them that. Alexa would not tell them that. ChatGPT will not tell. Alexa and Siri, they will be really nice. Oh, hi, what did you want to know? Oh, you wanted to know why the clouds are white. The clouds are white because of. So they're responding to the needs of the child. Okay. So for me, one of my very close friends says, the issue with AI is not just the technology, it's the society. The people who are building it, they're building it with their bias in it. The people who are administering it, they're administering it with their bias. So if you can be able to go back to being humans first, and then use technology, I don't think we'll have the issues that we have right now. Any final words, Upendo? Because I think we're over our time.
Oh, okay. So what I'd say is that we shouldn't be afraid to use AI companions, and we shouldn't limit people's use of AI companions, but we should also know how to understand the proper use and be able to promote the proper usage. We shouldn't restrict children. We should not monitor them. We should encourage them to seek the better sides and also discourage them against, enlighten them on all these negative sides and any harm that could come to them. Yes.
Thank you. Please wish Upendo success. She's sitting for her final high school exam very soon. She's lost weight. So wishing you all the best, Upendo. Thank you very much, everybody, for overstaying our session. And I hope we can be able to see you in the next one. Thank you.
Thank you.